This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
And ready to go. Are you traveling to New England? Are you traveling to New England this week?
No, I'm actually going to Jacksonville this week. I've got Jags Chiefs, and so
that's
I
right.
will miss the hurricane, monsoon, whatever's going to go on in the weather.
No, it's going on Saturday. Everybody's safe. No, it's going by on Saturday.
Good.
So, that's good. That's actually the good thing. Saturday is the bad day for them. Even though New England is really not going to get, like, the worst of it, it's really Maine that's going to get more of it than they'll get some rain and wind and all that, but it'll be on Saturday. By Sunday, it's already gone. It's way gone.
Okay.
So that's the good thing. And they all get a break and all that stuff. Traveling might be a little...
They don't play till Sunday night either.
Right, and they don't play till Sunday night. So, maybe they'll travel late Saturday or something because maybe during the day it might be not the safest time to travel over there. Who knows? I don't know how they'll handle that. Yeah,
that's a good point. I was talking to some of the reporters who are traveling, and they were trying to decide. I think some of them are going to go tonight to get ahead of the storm versus risking it later. So, but it's probably different when you have to buy a commercial flight versus the team when you can leave whenever you decide with your private jet.
Exactly. Yeah. You just leave whenever the hell you want, and you're good. What'd you think of last night?
Yeah, I thought it was a good game, man. Philly's interesting because after you win a Super Bowl, or after you get to the Super Bowl, not win the Super Bowl, all the attention is, can you repeat? And so they're 2-0. They've looked decent, but I think the overwhelming feel is like they don't look like they looked last year yet. Why aren't they throwing the ball here? Why is AJ Brown mad at the sideline? And these kind of seem like rich people problems, right? Like they still beat the Vikings. They still probably are the best team in the NFC, and they're figuring it out. So Kirk Cousins actually played relatively well. I know he gets the knock of not being prime time, but the dudes who couldn't hang on to the ball, the running back and some other dudes, those are the dudes who cost them the game yesterday. So good game.
And they couldn't stop. And our buddy Brian Flores couldn't stop the run because they
gave up 254 yards. And so it was interesting because early in the game, I think Flores had some success with the blitz against Jalen Hurts. And they threw a pick and they had some pressures. But they didn't adjust, and the Eagles did. The Eagles essentially said, okay, you're going to blitz, you're going to get Jalen Hurts off his spot. Well, we're just going to pound you with the run game. And I think there was that one touchdown drive where they literally ran the ball, I think 12 or 13 times on that drive, just with DeAndre Swift going crazy. And that's how you beat a aggressive defense. You just run the ball. So that's probably the, I know the Dolphins gave up 234, but I don't know, that might be the biggest team rushing game of the season so far. 250 something against Brian Flores and Vikings defense.
Yeah, bro. It's a lot of yards, bro. I think Swift just scored again. He's Swift has scored 3 more times here during this show. So it's pretty ugly.
So Swift said after the game, I was watching the pressers, that this was the most yards he's had since high school. So he just had a career day, his first game in Philly.
Well, hey man, he can thank Brian Flores. I mean, that's thank Brian Flores for giving him one hell of a performance overall. We start to look at, oh man, what was I was gonna add? Oh yes, the Jets. I had Antoine Staley on from the New York Daily News. You know Antoine, he's covering the Dolphins.
Yeah, good dude.
And so we were talking about this mess with the Jets. And so Aaron had his surgery and it went well. And obviously he's talking about coming back. And the money that they have committed already to him, they're like locked in already.
Yeah.
I mean, in the third year, they have $51 million of dead cap money in the third year. We're not even talking about the second year. So he's going to come back. So they're going to bring back a 40-year-old quarterback he's got a bad calf, and now he's coming off an Achilles surgery with one of the worst offensive lines in all of football. And on top of all of that, you've kind of gone all in. So I don't know how much more money you've got to commit to all of this and how much more you're going to try to free up when it comes to all of this, because you're going to have to go out and buy linemen, but that's really not usually available to buy
Right.
linemen, and people aren't
Right.
really willing to trade. So you've kind of, it's almost like the Jets have kind of put themselves in a vicious cycle where they committed to an older quarterback who is now broken down, but they're overcommitted to him. And at the same time, you're going to allow your young guys to start getting older on you, and your window for that defense might start closing on you in a couple of years if this is your game plan to go with the old quarterback. I again, as a Dolphins fan, I got to tell you, I'm sitting back laughing my ass off on this. But to me, the Jets made a deal that is basically going to bury them.
Yeah, it seemed like the Jets made a call that we're going all in, for better or for worse, right? You know, it's one of those decisions. If I don't know if you guys have ever played poker before, but I
Mhm.
like poker and Texas Hold'em, and you're looking at your stack and you're like, man, I'm a little low on chips, and the reality is, I'm gonna go all in with this. You know, it might be a queen jack, right? It's not the best hand in the book, but it's what I've got, and you go all in with it. You put all your chips in, and then all of a sudden the river turns and it's two aces, and you don't really have any choice. You can't fold at that point. You're all in. You know,
Right.
somebody probably has an ace. You're probably screwed. You're probably done. But you know, you look at your hand and you said, "This is the situation I've got. I've got to go all in." The Jets have essentially gone all in with their older quarterback. It's not the best situation, but it's the one they were dealt, and now they have no choice but to hope that next year he comes back 100%. They can patch up the roster and take their one last swing at it. Their hope was they were going to get two swings at it. Um, Probably only going to get one next year if he comes back 100%. He probably makes one more run, and then I'd imagine that's it. And so instead of two Broadway shows to see if they can get that one title, they get one shot. And Zach Wilson, I know Salah's saying, "Why are you guys writing their obituary?" Maybe Zach Wilson shows us something that we haven't seen. I'm not expecting it. I think that they would be lucky to get back to where they were last year, which was right at 500. The defense is really special, but you can't win in this league when you're essentially hiding your quarterback.
Oh,
And I
they're
think they're
the
going to have to hide.
Dolphins.
Yeah,
They're
they're
the
going to have to hide
Dolphins.
their. Yeah,
Bro,
they're
they're
going to have
the
to hide their
Dolphins.
quarterback
They're the
for
Dolphins of many years here for the last 20.
right,
Defense and Ricky Williams, defense and Lamar Smith, defense and Jay Ajayi. The same shit, dude. Same
right.
shit. Weak offensive line, a quarterback that can't carry you, a defense that plays their ass off, a decent running game, but you
Right.
just don't have enough. I've seen this movie. Oh my God, have I seen this movie in Aqua and Orange? I have
Yep.
seen this movie a lot in Aqua and Orange. You know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
get the whole thing, the rah-rah stuff, and our defense always plays hard and they'll play hard and this, that. Eventually they all get tired, bro. It
Yep.
doesn't matter who they are. They get tired of carrying your ass and knowing that there's no hope on the other side. And
Yeah.
that's what becomes, what's that word I want to find, that it just drains you. It that's the part that just takes the life out of you, that there is no hope on the other side. It sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. It's tough as a defender when you look on the other side of the ball and you just have, there's nothing to get excited about, right? It's been a long time, but I played football in high school, and whether you like it or not, there's always some sort of a divide, or looking on the other side. And I remember times where, you look at the offensive side and you just know, we're going to be lucky to score, 17 points today.
Right.
And so, it's a hard life to live every single week. There's some defenses that love the pressure. We're going to put it on our back, but it's so draining. Draining's the right word. That if you see your offense giving turnovers up, you make a good stop and you're right back on the field because your quarterback throws a pick, right? And so that in its essence, the draining, the mental element, maybe even more than the physical toll, is what gets teams in the back end of the season, which is why it's so hard for a team to win championship led by their defense, which is why, we always, a lot of fans are like, why y'all get so obsessed with the quarterback? And trust me, I get tired of talking to the quarterback sometimes too, but it's so hard to win a title without a quarterback because everything else has to be perfect.
Yep.
Everything else has to be consistently perfect and not get mentally worn down by the fact that you're either don't have a quarterback or you're hiding your quarterback.
Yep. All right, so let's get to this matchup. I was talking with Safed about this. Mac Jones threw 54 times last week, completed 35 of them, but 19 of his 35 went to Ramondre Stevenson 6, Hunter Henry 5, Gesicki 3, and Zeke Elliott 5. 19 of the 35 went to tight ends and running backs. Are you expecting the same kind of conservative approach? Because I don't expect you to attack X, but you might attack a little bit of Eli. So what are you expecting? The conservative approach and maybe an occasional shot downfield, or will they change things up this week?
This will be a Ramondre Stevenson and Zeke Elliott game, in my view. I think they will get the ball plenty to their running backs. Like you said, the tight ends as well. Kendrick Bourne did have a nice game. I think he was the one receiver who had a couple of touchdowns. I think he had 5 or 6 catches.
6 for 64 and 2 touchdowns.
Right. So he was really the only receiver. And I think that he is their number one receiver technically now. Like I know Devontae Parker might be that guy in name, but Kendrick Bourne is there, and Juju. Devontae and Juju might be the two name guys that most people recognize, but Kendrick Bourne is their number one as far as effectiveness. But I think you'll see the Patriots look at the Dolphins tape and said, you gave up 234 rushing yards. Bill Belichick will say, we're going to see if we can make that 235, and to be honest, that's the way I would play it. The Dolphins, maybe it was just one game. The Dolphins hope it was one game, but the Dolphins played very poor linebacker play. Andrew Van Ginkel, David Long, they were trying to rotate them both. They didn't have an answer. They were missing, like we talked about this before. We talked about the loss of Landon Roberts, and I mentioned to you maybe I think Dolphins fans were underestimating that. That's who they looked like they missed last Sunday. They needed a guy in the middle who was going to stop the run, stop the plugging, shoot a gap. And right now there's a little bit of uncertainty in my mind there that they have fixed it. And so if I'm the Patriots, I attack what has been leaking, which is that run defense with Ramondre Stevenson and Zeke Elliott. They should be a little bit healthier on the offensive line than they were this past game, which should help them run the ball a little bit better too.
What's your prediction? What do you think happens?
I think the Dolphins get them. I think it'll be a little bit lower scoring than we saw in the Chargers game. I think give me 24 to 20 Dolphins. I think the Dolphins win a close one. I think the Patriots give them some trouble for a while, but the Dolphins get it out in the end.
All right, good stuff. I'm hoping that they're able. Do you think Tua will attack them the same way? You think they'll pass a lot, or do you think they'll try to run?
I do, but you know this. Tua's had a lot of success against Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick's a prideful dude. I'm sure he's going to have some different things in his book to try to get Tua off his spot, move him a little bit, try to test him a little bit. Whether it's pressing Tyreek on the line, whether it's trying to, play a little bit more zone coverage. The Dolphins torched the man coverage that the Chargers tried to do this past week. I don't think zone's going to work either, but you might as well try something different.
And here's what I would say to this. Good luck.
Yes.
Because all he's doing, and I'm talking about Tua now, all he's doing now is getting more and more comfortable.
Yep.
And that's the part that people, I don't think, that was part of the success this week, is that he's now in the second year of the system. And so now he was an entire offseason with the same system for 2 years in a row. And now he's been in the meeting rooms with Mike and Marino and everybody else for now 2 years in a row, talking the same language and everything. And that's what you saw out there. A guy that wasn't thinking at all, a guy that was just executing. And I think that's where, I was talking with, I think it was Marcel or somebody else over the last 2 days, that what we have to all take into account with those people that jumped the gun on Tua and everything else, he got into the league, right? And he got into the league injured. So now he has to rehab for you while he's in his first year rehabbing. So his core was never strong. So in his second and third years, that's when he's strengthening his core now. And so now he's got his health back officially. He then bulked up the other part of his body. And now he's in the second year in the same offense. something he hasn't done either. So now, and he's playing with the same people pretty much he played last year with. So now you're giving him all this ammunition he's never had: health, experience, habitual opponents. You've now seen the Patriots and the Bills and everybody else a whole bunch of times. So that also becomes a positive for him. You know what I'm saying? All of these things, I don't think people understand that you're stacking all these things that are now all of a sudden making him what he is, an absolute stud.
Absolutely. And I'll just say this last thing for me. When you think about Tua, what he was really good at last year, and he's still good at, is being able to get the ball to the spot, be quick with his decisions, have very accurate throws, and be a timing monster in that scheme. What excites me most about his year 4 evolution is what we saw against the Chargers. Him when timing is broken, when Jalen Waddle falls on a route, when the defenders break inside your in-breaking route and jumping on it. What do you do when the core of your offense, the core of what you're best at, the core of what you may be the best in the league at, as far as the RPO and the timing and the accuracy, the team figures it out. And when he made that play on that 3rd and 10, he made a couple other plays, but that was the one that I think we all looked at. When he made the play of his first read falls down, the timing is disrupted. Tyreek does a little bit something with his route, ad-libs a little bit, and runs to go from there. You have to adjust. The pressure's coming. You step up on the pocket. Your feet are not set. Everything's not perfect, but you hit a 47-yard pass in between 2 defenders, the perfect spot. That, to me, is the next level of Tua, where you can be excellent on the timing routes, but also show the next level of creating plays when things break down. That's when you start to get to that elite level of quarterback play that we've seen spurts of for Tua for the last, 18 weeks. And I think that he's on track to do it again for this year.
Follow him on Twitter at Cameron Wolfe. Catch his exceptional work, as always, at the NFL Network. Cam, as always, thank you, my brother. We will catch up next week, and have a great weekend and safe travels, my friend.
Appreciate you.
Thank you, sir. Cameron Wolfe, we unleash the Wolfpack.